And good evening, good morning, good afternoon to wherever you are watching here in the Philippines and all over the world. My name is RJ Ledesma and welcome to my podcast, the RJ Ledesma Podcast. In this podcast, I interview the country's pioneering business personalities and leading entrepreneurs to find out more about how they think about doing business, what are their success secrets in business, and how have they innovated, how have they pivoted their business models during the pandemic. But more importantly, what opportunities do they see emerging in the newer normal? Now, is there a business personality or entrepreneur that you would like me to interview here on the podcast? Please let me know. Just drop me a message. I would love to learn from them by having them here on the show. We are also live right now on Kumu, CBRC TV, Global Pinas TV, and of course, the Bounce Back Network. Now, tonight, I want to introduce to all of you a really, really great entrepreneur who became one of my pandemic BFFs because we actually got together as a result of trying to help solve pain points of entrepreneurs during this pandemic. He is Jason dela Rosa, the founder of Bounce Back Philippines. Among different businesses, he also has the Ark of Dreams, and he's also the co-founder of Kita PH. Jason has been a serial entrepreneur and venture builder for 20 plus years and is the founder of Bounce Back Philippines, a business advocacy group that helps MSMEs thrive beyond any crisis, especially this current crisis which we are experiencing. And Bounce Back is also part of the 2021 META/Facebook Accelerator Program Participant, and he's the author of the book called The Practical Entrepreneur, which is currently being used as a reference by MBA students. I understand the Ateneo Graduate School is actually using his book in their courses. He's also the founder of several business ventures and brands. His ventures revolve around Agritech, digital tech startups, Web3, food and beverage, e-commerce, eSports, eHealth, and eLearning. His mission in life is to develop impactful ventures and help entrepreneurs grow through challenges by balancing passion and practicality. He is truly a multi-hyphenated serial entrepreneur. Please welcome here in my show right now my good friend Jason dela Rosa. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey RJ, how are you? It's been a long time.
And we're going to be welcoming Jason. Sorry about the delay over there. There we have it.
Hello.
Hi, Jace.
Yeah. Hello. Hi RJ, how are you?
Double checking on the audio of Jason. Is it on?
Yeah. My audio is on.
I'm just checking right now. I'm checking on my production team. Yes, Aryan. I can't seem to hear Jason from my side over here. Tell you what, let me do something very, very briefly over here. Jason, if you can hear me right now, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to just step on a bit, reboot, but at the same time, please show them off your new book. Describe a bit more about what the Practical Entrepreneur is all about and what the promo is. And I'll be back in just a few. Jason, go ahead lang. Kaya mo yan. Let me
Alright.
just get back to you,
Okay,
okay?
sige. Ako naman ang host ngayon. Alright, so this book, The Practical Entrepreneur, ito yung sinasabi ni RJ Ledesma. I wrote this book. And for those who are watching right now, ayan, si Nico Viray, Bianca Angeles. Grabe, dalawan ang fans dito. Alright, so for those watching the podcast now, I think, can we show the link of the book? Yeah, if later siguro yan. Okay, so if you click on the link and then use the promo code RJ Ledesma, okay, just enter it dun sa form, then you get a 10% off, no, off from this book. So itong book na to, it's as RJ said, it's being used by Ateneo MBA students, and it's really a compendium of my life journey as an entrepreneur ever since I graduated. And you'll read about stories about my failures in life. That's how you really learn as an entrepreneur. Is really to fail, And later, maganda yung usapan namin ni RJ. It's gonna be my entrepreneurial journey. So let's wait for him to come back. This is the RJ Ledesma show and not the Jason dela Rosa show. But I'll be with you for the rest of this session. And kindly share, no? Nico, Bianca, hello. Share this to your friends, no? And share this to your network so that they will be able to learn, from this. All right. Okay. So again, go to the link that is at the bottom of the screen, no? tinyurl.com/practical entrepreneur. Use promo code RJ Ledesma, then 10% off sa mga gagamit niyan. Okay? So, hi Isaac. Hello. Hi Isaac. How are you doing? Where are you from, Isaac? Let us know where you're from. Yan. Play the guitar daw. All right. Okay. Hi Isaac from Pasig. So Isaac, get a copy of the book. Okay. Just click on the link. Promo code RJ Ledesma. You get 10% off when you purchase this book, and we'll deliver this to you, Isaac. Yeah. All right. So before RJ comes back, I'd like to talk about some of the principles of my book. No? So basically, you'll be able to learn the difference between passion and being practical in business. About putting your both feet on the ground while you're on your entrepreneurial journey. How to cope with failures. Here in this book, you'll learn how to determine your meaning of success and how to form your goals based on your meaning of success. And we've got business lessons like what is the difference between growing your business, scaling your business, how do you use digital to scale your business, and a lot of practical tips that I've learned throughout the years as an entrepreneur. And if you get a copy of this book, I am very sure you'll really discover, why you ask yourself, now, why am I so stressed being an entrepreneur in my life? So stressed going day to day, trying to earn money, trying to grow my business. Then I think this book will help you discover how you'll be able to cope with that stress, as an entrepreneur, and you enjoy being an entrepreneur. Because because when an entrepreneur is not supposed to be like a burden. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs find it difficult, uh, through failures and a lot of heartaches doing their business. But entrepreneurship doesn't have to be stressful. You just have to be able to manage your time. And we're back, RJ.
Talking about managing
Take it
your
away.
time, I think I made it right in time. So again, Jason's book really great. We're going to discuss. I know he's been discussing a bit about it here right now, but we're going to go back later on and then really get into how the book was created in the first place. Please check out this book right now, Practical Entrepreneur. You can order it. It's here right now just for those listening to us via audio. That's https //tinurl.com/practical entrepreneur. And the promo code to use is RJ Ledesma, 10% off. Again, Jace, thanks so much for coming here on the show. And I'm looking at the comment box. We've got a lot of comments over here from Nico Viray and Bianca Angeles. Thanks so much, guys, for saying hi to all of us over here. Big fans. Isaac, Jacob, guys, thanks so much for joining us here right now. The best comment I'm hearing so far is kinis ng face ni Kuya Jason. Maybe he's got a product for that as well over here. Now, Jason, like they say, yeah, kinis ng face ni to Jason.
Social, Jason.
Social. Now, I know, Jason, that you are what we call, and the reason why I find ourselves being kindred spirits is really because, number one, you're a multi-hyphenated entrepreneur. It's like malikot yung utak mo, di ba? But I'm sure that, you have an overarching principle as to why you get into the different businesses. I recall my wife, did the entrepreneurship program in Ateneo under Professor Andy Ferreria, and he keeps on saying that, many of these entrepreneurs, you think that they're in so much disparate businesses and they don't make sense. But to the entrepreneur, there's sort of like an overarching theme in the head as to why they all work together. And we're going to ask you about how do they all work together. But in the meantime, can you share with us what are these different businesses that you're currently in, just to give people an idea?
Okay, so after Bounce Back Philippines, RJ, diba? We were together. We were together the past years during the pandemic. I shifted, my ventures and how I did business into businesses that are pandemic proof, businesses that can last through any crisis that may come because things are so unexpected. No, as we learned. So I'm into Agritech. We have Kita.ph, Octo e-commerce, Ark of Dreams. But one unifying factor, of the ventures is it has to have some sort of impact society in the lives of people, not to the lives of people. Like if you look at the Kita.ph business, it's all about giving livelihood and helping the farmers by connecting, farmers to resellers and resellers selling fresh produce to communities. So it's about creating impact for the agricultural sector, livelihood, and communities having access to cheaper vegetables and counteracting inflation, which is one of the worst things happening right now. Diba? Taas
That's
ng
right. That's
presyo
right.
ng bilihin. Oh. And the ventures that I build, like Ark of Dreams, for example, it's all about the Web3 and but how the Web3 is doing now. It's not so good, no. But it's I still feel that blockchain, for example, it will be something that will emerge again in the future, and I'm integrating that with other ventures, no, kasi when I create ventures, they all have to work together. No, they can't be individual ventures. Hindi lang sila pwedeng hiwalay-hiwalay. No, it has to work together as one and complementing each other. So if I talk about all the ventures, you might not have time, RJ. But those are the two main things that ventures I want to talk about.
Yeah, and as we talk about it, just right now, many people are listening here right now. In fact, this direct Logi Ninalga, talking about the book Practical Entrepreneur, he says, it's the best book I've got. I will recommend it to my partners. Thanks so much, Derek. Really appreciate
Thank you,
the feedback
Derek. Thank you, Derek.
that you gave to Jason. Jason, one thing about serial entrepreneurs, many of them think that, how can you find time to multitask across several businesses? Like you're just doing one, but you're already doing another one. Um, what are the practical tips, I guess, on how? Because some people they say I can even run one business, but you're running several. How do you
Yeah.
just divide your time, at least in the? How do you compartmentalize your mind, and I guess physically, how do you manage across all those different ventures?
Well, a lot of it is in my book. No? One is first have to determine what is important, or what gives more value in your day or in your life, and then what does not give much value to the ventures that you're doing. No, because if you look at your day, RJ, or those people listening, there are many things that doesn't really contribute, no, to the betterment of your venture, or contribute to it, or give value, no, to that venture, that we just do it during the day because parang we just want to be busy, right? We just want to, we're addicted to stress. Sometimes that's what we call entrepreneurs. No? So I've learned to only plot in my calendar what gives real value to my day, to my ventures, and then those does not bring any value, you just remove it. Sometimes kasi we were afraid to not do things, no? Because we feel na kailangan ko attend tong meeting na to, hindi, kailangan ko i-meet tong person na to, kailangan ko gawin to.
I know the
Oo,
feeling. I
but
know the feeling.
actually,
Oh,
you know the feeling, no? But after you attend that meeting, or after you do that, parang, "Ay, hindi ko naman pala kailangan gawin yun, no? It doesn't contribute anything to my business, to my family life, to my spiritual life. Doesn't contribute anything at all, no? So you remove that, you replace your calendar with things that of value. Okay, at the end of the day, you'll feel more fulfilled, and you feel like parang, oh, you're so productive that day. No, second is you have to empower people to do things that you shouldn't be doing anymore, no, or things that you are not capable of. No, smarter people, hire
hmm.
smarter people to do jobs for you, to fill in the gaps. No, that's the reason why when you create a team, or when I get people in my team, I always think of, does your strength complement my weakness, or my strength, does it complement your weakness? If all of you are complementing each other, it doesn't your time becomes it frees up your time so much, no, because everyone is empowered to finish things, to be more productive, and you'll be able to monitor things lang top view, and say, oh, we accomplished so many things, no, even though we're doing many things at the same time, no? So that's number one. Choose the important things lang in a day that you're
Hmm.
doing. And second is empower people to help you and complement your weaknesses. Yeah.
Got that. So
Yeah.
I know that you're, and the thing is also that I see how you're doing things. That there are people are actually multiple teams. They're actually in your multiple businesses. They're not just
Yes.
assigned to one
Yes.
business, and I guess that helps leverage everybody's skill across multiple disciplines and multiple businesses. Now,
Yes.
having said that, Jason, and I know that you do so many different things. Um, let's start off. I guess what I wanted to focus on this time around is to focus on your own entrepreneurship journey, moving to where you are here right now, because I'm sure that you've had your own share of successes and failures along the way to becoming an entrepreneur. So let's go back a bit more now. I understand that one of your first backgrounds really coming out of college was that you were in a band, right? If
Yeah.
that's right, you made music. So tell us a bit more
Yeah.
about that. I hope you don't mind. We'll backtrack a bit so we understand the whole entrepreneurial journey. So I understand
Sure.
you went to Ateneo, you were doing a business course, and you were in a band at the same time with our good friend John Aguilar of the
Yeah.
Final Kids. Oh,
Yep. Yeah. So John Aguilar was our vocalist, no, in the band, no. So yeah. So I was really into music that time. We actually got a recording contract from Dyna Records. I'm sure nobody.
oh,
I
Dyna
mean,
Records. That's a throwback for me right there. Sino dito nakakaalam ng Dyna Records sa mga nakikinig? Sina Isaac, sina Bianca,
wala
Kevin
na yata.
Carrion. Thanks so much of Matchmo listening here right now. Yan. Have you guys heard of Dyna Records? Sige, tuloy mo na, Jason.
Okay, so wala, may mga bata pa yata yung audience mo. But we're trying to balance that. The reason why hindi na-launch yung album is because we're trying to balance schoolwork with while recording an album at that time. But we were able to record already, but we were in the calendar na of Dyna Records and everything about to launch. But two of our bandmates decided to go double major and then decides to do more schoolwork. No, so sadly that dream did not push through. But eventually, I still returned to my passion. In my 20s after college, I started producing albums naman, producing music and writing music.
Was that your first job out of college, Jason?
No. Actually, in college, I was already doing. I was already producing greeting cards.
Greeting cards.
Yeah,
I
greeting
know
cards.
you're a good artist, right?
Yeah. So I drew my own greeting cards, and I had the printing press print it, and then I sold to I sold it in school, no, and that was my first entrepreneurial uh, experience, no. Then that's where I learned how to outsource, no, because um, if you're familiar with Dyna Records, you must be familiar with Giftgate, right?
Okay,
Okay,
we're dating ourselves, but yes, we know Giftgate. We know Giftgate. Oh,
okay. So they were going to consign my greeting cards. No, at
mhm.
that time, no. At that time, ang mga sikat nun was like Forever Friends. Do you remember that greeting card? Okay. Um, I so I learned the entire entrepreneurial process by actually doing the business.
The greeting
So,
card
so
business.
yeah, the greeting card business. Sabi ko, okay, so I learned about production, I learned about costing, I learned about distribution. But there was a time na parang, hey, I can't na. I'm just one person. How do I distribute this, no? So what I did was I contacted the art organization in Ateneo. I just forgot the name of it, no? And then I paid an artist 500 pesos per drawing. Okay, so that's sunk cost for me, and I can print that artwork like 100 times, 200 times na greeting cards. Then I'm able to sell multiple greeting cards with just a 500 peso cost na artwork. So I learned about fixed cost, and I learned about how to earn from that fixed cost multiple times. No,
And the funny thing,
uh,
Jason, is that were you taking business in college? Were you taking business course?
uh, business course na IT, so MIS siya, Management
Okay.
Information
Because
Systems.
sometimes you come across these concepts in college, like sunk cost, fixed cost, variable cost. It makes sense theoretically, but it doesn't really make sense until you finally get into business
Yes,
and you apply them, right?
yes, correct. That's why I always tell like Nico and Bianca who works with us is I always tell them SILDI, SILDI, screw it, let's do it. So
I like
that's
that.
our
Screw
more
it, let's do it. Is that right,
that's our
Bianca?
motto.
Nico, is that what you've learned? Screw it, let's do it. Sige, continue lang, Jason. Oh.
Yeah, so I tell them, there's no marketing plan or business plan that can predict the future, sabi ko. The only way to really learn, the only way to really know, no, if this will work is if you actually, do it, no? And most of my ventures, I've done it that way. No, it
Screw it, let's do it philosophy.
yeah, screw it, let's do it. When Bianca or Nico comes to me and says, "Hey, will this work?" Yeah, screw it, let's do it. Just do it, and see what happens. And that's when the learning comes. So your mindset has to be unexpected ang mga bagay. Nobody knew the pandemic would come. We are not soothsayers, we are not fortune tellers that we will know how the market will react to it, especially if you're innovating. If you are bringing out a product that no one has ever seen before, then you cannot do a market study. You can you just do it and have your customer try it na, and then if it fails, okay, let's go back and fix it. And that's how I've been developing my businesses or ventures in my
I
life.
like it. And as you move forward, let's talk more about how you apply the screw it, let's do it philosophy. So after the
Uh-huh.
greeting cards, which was in college, you learned a lot of, basically for production outsourcing. You got that from there. And then when you graduated from college, and my presumption is this one, because usually if you're Filipino Chinese,
Yeah.
they'd rather that you put up your own business than work for a company. I mean, that's just, I don't know if it's a stereotype, but that's what I see from many of my friends who are Filipino
Yeah.
Chinese. What did you do after college?
Okay, so my story there, in my story is, di ba in Ateneo or in college, there are job fairs that they did inside the school, right? So during those job fairs, so I have classmates going, submitting resumes, doing on-the-spot interviews. I really asked myself during that time, do I submit a resume and get tempted if I'm offered a job, a high-paying
Mm-hmm.
job, or
Mm-hmm.
I will stop myself from submitting a resume and not be tempted and go straight to entrepreneurship because I've already felt yung entrepreneurship the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
parang
Mm-hmm.
the time freedom, the how you can control your earnings, no? Sabi ko, sige, I told myself, I'm not going to submit a single resume ever, and I've never done it. No, I've never had a boss. I've never submitted a resume. That forced me. No, that forced me to become a real entrepreneur. No, it's that mindset na if you want something done, then do not put yourself in a situation that you'll be tempted to do otherwise. You know,
Okay.
because your environment can influence you. You know, your environment can influence you. Your association can influence you. Your friends, no, they can say, "Sabit ka, resume. Sabay tayo sa company na to. Ano, sabay tayo diyan mag-apply." So if you get out of the situation, then you can reach your goals faster because ikaw yung parang you remove that environment where you are limited. Parang ganun.
Mhm. That's right. And they often tell people right now, and I don't know if you can confirm it for me, like in Go Negosyo, especially when I'm there, is that it really depends when you as an entrepreneur who you surround yourself with, because sometimes
Yeah.
if you're an entrepreneur and you've got an idea and you're with people who aren't entrepreneurs, they're gonna go, oh, what mo gagawin yan? That's parang babaksak lang yan, or they just, are you crazy? Why are you doing this one when you can get a stable job? But and then they'll put you down. That basically, if you're with entrepreneurs, that it's the other way around. They're going to say, okay,
Yes.
how do we figure out how to make it work? I mean, is that how you perceive things as well?
Yeah, kasi like the Bible said, bad associations spoil useful habits. Okay, and I've always learned, like, if you read my book, every chapter is all scriptural based, and you learn a lot of business principles. So it's true that with bad association, it will spoil your useful habits. No, kasi for me, everything is about habits and patterns in your life. The more you do things good in a repetitive way, the more you will achieve, 'di ba? So those na bad association that it will break, that pattern. It will, when maaga ka nagigising, suddenly may association ka na palagi lumalabas ng gabi, no, na nagpupuyat, it will break that good pattern or that good habit that you have, no. That's why it's very important that you associate yourself with people who can lift you up, who can encourage you.
Yeah, I guess it's one of the first things I wanted to point out over here is that it's very important, actually, the community that you build around yourself when you want
Yes.
to become an entrepreneur. Like for me, that was Go Negosyo really helped me out a lot, because just to share a story, Go Negosyo, I started off there really as a host. Although I came from a business background, I started off as a host because that's my skill set, my laway ko, yung capital ko, di ba? But it was being there and speaking to entrepreneurs through osmosis. You gained a lot of I gained a lot of my confidence to put up the business and run it myself, and then build a network. And eventually, I'm now helping paying it forward by becoming an entrepreneur mentor at the same time. Same reason as to why we Bounce Back is there. Diba? Bounce Back was
Yeah.
actually a place for us to surround ourselves with entrepreneurs who want to solve problems, and we're going to get back into how we built the Bounce Back community in just a bit. But that's really the one key lesson that Jason's talking about over here: good association versus bad association. Not just in terms of the community that you are with, but also not only with the company that you keep, but the habits that you have at the same time. Like sabi niya,
Yes.
waking up early versus going out all night, people, and
Mhm.
then and working hard. I guess those are very important things. Now, moving on, Jason. Now, you didn't submit any resume, and so you were forced to work. Tell us a bit more about your entrep journey straight out of college. Where did you go, and what did you learn from those things?
Okay, so I started my compute. I started actually my business right after, before graduation from Ateneo, and I put up a computer school. no, with a few friends, no, from college, and kasi we felt that the knowledge that we know, we wanted to teach to younger people, and then
Mhm.
so that they can do like programming, Microsoft Word, um, and out of that experience, I learned a lot of things. No? Number one, okay, so cash flow. Many people after college, they don't see cash flow uh, as something important, no, until they do a business, no. When you do a business kasi, um, the expenses pile up and you don't notice it piling up, no? And then you have to get income or revenue to cover expenses, no? Kasi when you're alone and you fresh out of college, you're being supported by parents, for example, or you're working for a big company, parang okay lang, your sweldo comes in or your allowance comes in, or you're sleeping in your parents' house, for example. You
Mm.
don't feel it, eh. You don't feel yung money that's bleeding, eh, 'di ba? Kasi parang lahat ng income mo sa'yo lang lahat, eh, 'di
Oo,
ba?
oo. Yeah, yeah, I
Oo.
remember those times. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
Oo. So straight out of college, I got to learn the hard way about cash flow, not having to have enough to pay employees on the 15th and on the 30th, having to borrow money just to cover for electricity bills, and not having enough money to have a haircut, and sleeping in the office to finish projects so that you can collect that money and cover up payroll, and a lot of entrepreneurs still experience that to this day, diba? Having not enough cash to cover for expenses. I guess I wrote my book, and it's called The Practical Entrepreneur, no? Is because one of the key ingredients of entrepreneurship is managing your cash flow.
Mhm.
Because that's the lifeblood. And I've learned that so early in my life, no? That you have to be practical in the way you handle your cash flow. And
Mhm.
we know that, RJ, that when that is gone, yung cash flow mo, the business literally just goes away, diba?
It dries. It literally dries up. It literally dries up.
It
Oh.
dries up, and you cannot serve your customers well. You cannot pay your employees, no. So that's one of the big lessons that I learned.
Okay.
Second is, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
go
before
ahead.
everything else, before Jason continues, for those of you who are interested, because he keeps talking about the book, please feel free to check out his book right now. Again, it's a Practical Entrepreneur. Ariel, can you please flash again on screen where they can get the book, The Practical Entrepreneur? You can find that again for those listening online. That's https tinurl.com/practical entrepreneur. The promo code is RJ Ledesma, RJ Ledesma 10% off for the book, straight from Jason. He will autograph the book for you at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's some comments over here at the chat box. I've got Marquinho Caburian over here saying, shout out from General Santos City. Hi to the folks in Gensa. What a nice conversation, boss RJ. Salute to your podcast and your speaker now, Sir Jason dela Rosa. Thanks, Marquino, listening all the way from Gensam. Okay, let's go back to your principle number two. You talked about managing cash flow. What's the second thing that you also learned from your first business? This is the school, right? The computer school. Tama
Yeah,
ba
yeah.
ako?
With their school. Oh, no. So second principle is finding the right partners, and your coworkers for your to form part of your team. No, I mentioned this earlier already. That when you create your team, it has to complement, no, yung weaknesses and the strength. And I got this book before, no, when I was, back in early 2000. It's called Jamming. No, it's by this person na parang handling creativity in the workplace. And
Jamming, as in
uh, me-
jamming. Jamming,
as
jamming.
in jamming. Oo.
Okay.
Medyo nag-relate ako because I was a musician then.
He's a musician, exactly. I was going to say that. Oh,
Oo. So that business book got me interested because of the title, Jamming. No? And the writer, no, was a jazz musician at the same time, is a business person, no? Is a manager, no? So
interesting, interesting. Oh.
yeah, so he related creativity in the workplace and team playing as playing in a jazz band,
Mm-hmm.
no? So what happens in a jazz band is um, every member of the band goes into the room. They don't know what they're going to play.
Exactly, because that's what jazz is, right? It's basically
Yeah,
improv. It's basically musical improvisation
improvis-
on the spot. Eh?
improvisation.
Yeah.
Yep, improvisation.
But you're
So
all
yeah,
good. You're all good. But
you're all
you're all
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When
Oh,
you
but
come
you
in,
don't know what's gonna happen, right?
exactly. Oh, oh.
Oh, you all have the ear for it. You all know your instrument very well. So the drummer sits down, diba? The drummer sits down and plays the drums first, diba?
Oh.
And he sort of parang he develops the beat for the rest of the musicians. Then the bassist comes in. Dum, 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 dum. So ano siya, pasok siya. And then papasok na si guitarist, si keyboardist. Then um, the vocalist comes in and then improvises, right? So once nag-improvise siya, ang ganda ng labas ng music, no? Each one has different skills. Magaling to sa drums, sa bass, sa gitara. Pero when you come together without, knowing what's gonna happen, ano ba yung project, parang you just listen to each other. You listen to each other, you feel each other. I don't know how to play drums, but I can complement your playing of the drums, okay? Which is the same in the workplace, no? That's how creativity happens. You don't control the creativity of each person. You let them do what they do best. Play the bass, play the guitar. But if you don't kasi let them jam together, kasi minsan kasi pag nag-aaway sila, parang the bassist is not listening to the drummer, 'di ba? Ang pangit ng labas, 'di ba? Sobrang out of tune, 'di ba? So sabi niya, okay, so if you're jamming, each one of you have strengths, right? Like each one, but if you don't listen to each other, okay, if you don't listen to each other and then complement each other's strengths, then you will not make beautiful music because you don't know what the project is, or you don't know what's the outcome will be. Pero if you listen to each other like jamming in a jazz band, that's the reason why teams gel together. And same with partners, no? If you don't listen to each other, pag pareho kayong magaling sa drums, if I always have something to say about your drumming, RJ, I mean, di ba? So
Yeah.
you do what you do best. I do what I do best, and we will together. Let's listen to each other, and we'll create good business together.
That's right.
And that's yes.
I wanted to shout out to another good business partner over here who came on the show a couple of weeks ago. Si Boss Marjorie Rubio of Bexy. Yes,
Hi.
shout out, sabi niya. Shout out mga brothers, sabi niya, because very soon, again, no, she's, that's great about what's being part of this ecosystem for startups and basically finding good people is that, she's in the logistics play, you're doing the e-commerce play. So we're all finding how we can work together in this ecosystem and collaborate in this new normal. So really great. Thanks so much for listening to over here, Marge. Yeah, Jay, sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
Yeah, so looking for partners, looking for team members, dapat there has to be you choose somebody that you choose someone is smarter than you. Ibig sabihin, you don't know how to play the drums, you get someone who knows how to do it. But you don't try. You have to listen. You have to trust that he knows what he's doing, and you have to trust that I know what I'm doing, and then we have to listen to each other. So I learned that time about partnership.
But when you meet partners, because I mean, we've all had our share of partners who are good partners and bad partners, right?
Yes.
I mean
Yes.
that's inevitable. I mean that's we're all gonna have our share. I've been through that here as well. What can you say about choosing business partners? I mean, this is a very pragmatic skill that you need. It's not
Yeah, yeah.
it's not a science of getting a good partner. What can you say after the many years that you've been working with different sets of people?
Well, it's true that what they say that the vision has to be aligned. You have to be aligned when it comes to the mission or the vision of the company. No, not only that, no, not only the vision, but or the method that you do business, how you take care of your employees, your attitude towards money. They have to gel together. No, it doesn't have to be 100% na perfect yung ano mo. partner mo, because no one is a 100% perfect, di ba?
Except for
But
our wives. Yan lang yung
except
perfect.
for our wives, mga
Our
asawa
wives.
natin, perfect kayo,
Perfect na
okay?
yan. Pero tayo,
Okay,
everything else, hindi perfect.
okay,
Pero,
good.
paano business partner mo yung asawa mo?
Ay,
Perfect pa rin ba yan?
nako, perfect pa rin yan.
Perfect pa rin yan. Perfect pa rin yan. Okay. Perfect pa rin yan. Okay. Nakikinig ang asawa ko kung dito malapit ang asawa ko eh. So, okay yan. Yan,
Perfect,
perfect.
perfect pa rin, perfect.
Perfect pa rin. Perfect pa rin. That's right. That's right.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but talking about there's no perfect business partner.
There's no perfect business partner, but you just have to communicate. No? Kung meron kang problema sa isa't isa, or the way you're doing business, you just have to communicate it. Kasi people naman can learn. No? There are partners na maybe hindi lang kayo nagje-gel at the start, pero I noticed na as time goes by, no, they parang mag-asawa, parang mag-boyfriend girlfriend. As time goes by, you learn to appreciate each other's mga flaws, no? You learn to appreciate.
Idiosyncrasies. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes, oo.
idiosyncrasies na lang, parang ganyan.
Oo.
May
So it's
flaws
very
and still.
important.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's very important that each one of you has to learn to be patient with each other, to understand that each one, pareho naman kayo hindi perfecto eh. Di ba? So you just complement each other. Pero syempre, there are partners na pag you feel na parang, no, this is not the right partner for me talaga. Kasi ibang-iba talaga ang values niya. So yung core values is very important as well. How he treats his family, how he treats his partners, he treats clients. Pag nakita mo na hindi aligned kayo sa values, medyo hindi na maganda yan.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Actually, for one of the key things for me, I find talking about values is that I want to see how he talks to people below him.
Yes.
That for me is very key. And then if they talk down to people, for me personally, I find that's sort of like a red flag for me.
Oo. Alam mo, one of my partners before, narinig, he talked to me, no? Sabi niya, alam mo, Jason, that's why I like working with you eh. Kasi every time you come to the office in the morning, you say good morning to every single person. No, I go to the desk, I say good morning to each and every person inside the office. Sabi niya. Oo. So parang nafi-feel down niya na, how you treat people, will reflect din on, how the company will be run. No? So it's very important that you show people na syempre yung values mo, pakita mo na pareho kayo ng partner mo ng values in terms of taking care of your people as well.
Got that. So after the computer school business, what was the next venture that you got from there?
Okay, so the computer business didn't do so well after a while, no? So what happens? So I did a lot of pivot. No, I learned how to pivot during that time.
Earlier on the pivot, gas ka noon pa sa'yo yung pivot. Noon pa gas na.
Correct. So I didn't know the word pivot. I didn't know the word pivot then. Okay, so I came into an opportunity wherein somebody wanted to give me a project. Okay, sabi niya, oh, I'm gonna give you this project, and it's a large company. No, by the way, when I was in college, my third year college, I was good at programming. No, I did all the code assignments of my friends and classmates na girls. No, I earned my first 50,000 pesos in my third year college because an insurance company asked me to develop an insurance calculator, in my third year of college. And the CEO of the insurance company went to my bedroom. I mean, to look at what I'm doing. That's how I was presenting to him. I was in college, no? So he would come to the bedroom and then with my computer, and then, okay, so this is how we do it. So I present to him, ganyan, no? So early on, I already knew how to, service clients, no, in terms of yung mga IT development. So moving forward, I transformed my business into an IT development firm, no. And that was the time when uh, .com was booming. No,
Okay.
.com was already that
So that
time,
was early 2000s.
early 2000. So I got projects from Malaysia, from everywhere. No, big companies, big agencies, and that's when I earned my first millions.
And what were you
Seven
developing
figures.
specifically? You were just coding for them. You doing programs for them. What were you doing for them
Yeah,
with the software?
we were already doing web applications at the time.
Okay.
Web applications. We were doing. Actually, I developed a search engine way before Yehi.com.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I didn't know how to market it that time. But I had the idea. I developed the first one of the first e-commerce sites, in the Philippines, no? And you know how we did our e-commerce, RJ?
Mm-hmm.
The buyer from the US would input his credit card, and at the back end, we would input it in the card machine of the bank.
So it looked like it was a seamless process,
Yeah,
but actually
yeah.
manual sa behind the scenes.
Yeah, oo. Walang payment gateway, no? So
Yeah.
we would punch the number and then lalabas yung print. Ting, 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 ting.
Oh,
Tapos isa-staple namin dun sa ano. But it works so well, no, na during seasons like Christmas, we would do like $16,000. Valentine's Day alone, we would make about 10,000 US dollars
mhm.
e-commerce. So I was so early in the game, no, in terms of e-commerce. Um, But then nag crashy.com, 'di ba? So
Okay.
all clients were like boom, nawala lahat ng mga kliyente. Actually before that pa, uh, a big .com company came to my office and offered to buy me, no? Umupo siya sa beside in front of me. Imagine mo, I'm almost just fresh out of college that time, ah. No, so in-approach ako nung guy sitting in front of me saying, I want to buy your company,
Mhm.
sabi niya. Tapos, so okay, so how much? Wala akong alam, no? How much? Sabi niya, okay, ito, this amount. No, this amount. Sabi ko, I can make it in that money in like a few months. Why would you offer me that? Yeah, but I'll offer you that you'll be ganito. So marami siyang offer. To cut the long story short, I did not accept the offer. Okay, I did not accept the offer. So I experienced my first VC or angel investor type But 3 years down the road, I was able to um, exit my company, part of my company. I was able to exit. Somebody bought in. I knew better already because of the experience. No, VCs approaching me, talking to VCs at
For
that
people
time.
who don't know, VCs mean venture capitalists. For those who are for the first time experiencing the word. Okay, please continue, Jason.
Venture capitalists. And at that time, 2000 something, I was just 20, early 20s pa lang. My company developed the first um, corporate SMS solution, no? Corporate SMS text solution. If you are familiar with Computer Associates, they were one of the largest computer security company in the world. Computer Associates, no, CA. They were my clients, no. During that time, all these stories are in my book, guys. So order kayo. Uh, ang ginawa namin technology was we attach our device and software in the Computer Associates servers.
Mhm.
Once nagka-problema ang server, it will text a technician it will alert a technician via SMS, no, and the error code. So, ang nangyari, all the computer associates engineers were able to fix or determine errors in real time through text messages kasi hindi pa uso dati yung mga FB Messenger. Wala pa
Mhm.
nun eh. Oo, yung mga ganon. ICQ pa yata nun or Yahoo
Nako.
Messenger.
We're dating ourselves over here, no?
Yeah. So SMS was the no. So we developed that, no, that technology, and we developed the first one. We developed online banking of a large bank, which sadly nawala na yung bangko na yon. But we were inside the large servers of banks, developing an online banking system already at that time. Okay. So I was able to exit, no? To cut the long story short, brought home some money. And that's when I said, okay, so this is what business exit means, no? That's how I learned naman, okay? You can build a venture and exit it, and then build
You can have
again.
hindi yung panghabang buhay. You can actually leave the
Oh,
business. Yeah.
yes, you can actually give it to somebody who wants it more than you, no? So,
Yes. Or
uh,
who can run it better than you because I
run
guess
it
they might be a bit more
better.
passionate about you. And your passion, I guess, eventually became, it's not about running the business, it's about building one and then giving it to somebody else because that's where your passion lies, no?
Yes, yes. So ano 'yan, in my book I also said na don't fall in love with your business. No, don't fall in love, all things are temporary, no? Because once you start falling in love, you know, ano yung song ni Queen, too much love can kill you, no? So if you love your own too much, you start to block everything na you don't listen to advice, you don't listen to parang my product is the best in the world, it's gonna be a
Yes,
billion
especially
dollar
for a lot of
startup.
startup, especially
Oh,
a lot of apps. The first developers of the apps, they're so in
yes,
love with the app, they can't see what's wrong with it because they go, "This is the best idea in the world," di ba? Parang
yes,
ganyan sila, di
yes.
ba?
Oo, so parang they're not looking at it na parang okay, what is the profit and loss dito? If I exit this, what is my benefit? What is my loss? Just like how I did it when somebody approached me, I thought of it in the revenue sense, no, na I can earn that in a few months. Why would I exit? Hindi yung because I love the product. Because if the price is right, I will exit it. If the price is right. So this is why my book, I mentioned about passion and practicality. That's why it's called the practical entrepreneur, because too much passion is bad. And when I mentor startups, RJ, 90% of the time, the passion is the one that's making the practical side of it blurry. No, uh, that's the reason why hindi nila nababantayan yung cash flow nila, hindi nila nakikita yung management issues, is because of the passion side.
But there's nothing wrong with passion. Just
There's
to
nothing wrong with
clarify,
passion,
there's nothing with passion.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. The passion is the driver, no, of your business. The practicality is the one that manages, your passion. Kasi it can go out of hand, no? So use your passion to, to flame it, no, to give you, to encourage you, to make you move forward. But sabi nga sa book ko, you have to learn how to step back, learn how to step back, look at your business again and say, wait, am I spending too much money? Am I burning cash? To do a lot of PR, to do a lot of these things. So I step back. Okay, let me check the numbers again. Parang ganun.
got that. Now, so we move on. After when you realize you're going to be a venture builder, what was that next business that you went into? How did you find? Because it's like when you have the money and you said, "Oh, this is my passion." How did you know now which business to enter into?
Okay, so during that time, no, ideas were very parang wala pang masyadong competitors during that time, no. And unlike now, may idea ka, everybody else, I mean, thought about it already, no,
That's
in the
right.
world, no. During that time, during the dot-com, I mean, era nung 2000, parang when you think of an idea, parang everybody wants to get into it. No? I mean, wow, what a great idea. No? Parang ganun. So, ako, during that time, I was young, I thought of ideas that way, na parang everything is about changing the world. Everything is about, creating something innovative. Diyan ko na-adapt yung innovation thinking ko, na I thought I have to do something different. no? It has to be different from anybody and has to be
Mhm.
something new. Wala akong pinasukan na negosyo dati na hindi bago, no? Na hindi pa inisip, parang yung inisip na ng iba, hindi ko ginagawa. So, my next venture, what I did was, I created a prepaid card, no? I developed a prepaid card wherein you scratch off the back, di ba? Kunyari, 500 pesos prepaid card. I partnered with Nitopia, internet cafe. Well, if you guys remember Nitopia. Grabe, RJ. All of those people were all my partners before. Um, PLDT, di ba, bought them.
That's right. That's right.
So a nursing student or an architect or an engineer can buy a prepaid card, walk into an Ethiopia, buy a prepaid card, scratch it, and load his account. And kunyari, I have 500 pesos in the computer in Ethiopia, I can review for the board exam, no? Na tingi-tingi. So wala akong pera, 10,000 pesos pambayad sa review center, no? Kasi ang dami pupunta sa review center, ang mahal, 'di ba, dati?
Oo, oo.
Oh, so I can actually buy 100 pesos and start reviewing chapter or topic by topic, no? And I can answer simulated exams and it will give me mga mali ko and it will explain bakit ka mali,
Mhm,
no?
mhm.
So try to capture a market who cannot afford the review centers. Kasi ang inisip ko, if people were buying shampoo sachet style in the sari-sari store, then you can make education or review sachet style also for those who cannot afford it. So, CLD, screw it, let's do it. Sabi ko, I did not validate the idea. I just said, I went to my room, I started coding stuff. I coded everything myself, ah. I
Mhm.
coded everything myself. I printed the all cards myself from yung mga printing press. Tapos I asked Netopia, distribute this. And you know how I check the sales every day? Uh, I had the Yahoo Messenger of every Netopia branch, in
Wow.
my list. In my
Ang
list.
tsaga mo naman.
Oo. So I'm in my room, end of the day, every day, asking each branch, magkano sales, magkano sales, magkano sales, magkano sales. Oo.
Mm.
So they would say, sir, two cards, 10 cards, 3 cards. And it all added up. Wow. Sabi ko, you can make money out of the air. Sabi ko, credits. So that's when I thought, digital business. You can earn without physical goods, no? Na you just sell credits like SMS, no? Content, no? Content. Yan yung na ano yung mind ko sa content. People will pay for content, no? And nangyari after that, no? 'Di ba physical card?
Yep, yep.
What was the next thing that was introduced to me? OTP, over the air. So, you know who I talked to that time? Load Central. Load Central. Sabi ko, huwag ka na mag-print ng cards. Added cost lang yan. Lahat ng papasok sa Netopia, babayad ng 100 pesos, ite-text na sa kanya yung code. Okay? Okay? So, that was the next one, no? So, sabi ko, okay, forget cards. Okay? So, I was earning na parang tubong ano na lang, lugaw na lang, no?
Bong
Parang
Lugaw.
everyday.
Oh, but I just want to mention over here si Direct JP Ninalga saying very inspiring story, Jason. So yan,
Wow,
Aryan.
thank you, Direct.
Oo. Yan, nakikinig din si Aryan, yung aking producer, kaya nadidelay lang yung ating paglabas ng ano. Very inspiring story. Sige, please continue. So after the OTP cards, tubong lugaw.
Oo, so diyan nabuksan yung mata ko eh. Parang sabi ko, okay, everything is it's everything is going towards that na digital content, people paying over the air. Parang I didn't know the terms, no. I mean, we have terms for them now, no. But yung mga ganun na over the counter, they pay 100 pesos, then you get the text of the code, and from the code you enter the computer, and you enter the computer, you learn. All the content is sunken cost, just like my greeting cards na I ask the artist to draw once and I can sell it multiple times through greeting
Got
cards.
that, got that.
Ito, I was able to partner with review centers. revenue share with them. Once lang in-encode lahat ng content, I earn multiple times without doing anything. Oo. So after that, after review card, we call it review card. Okay, I use my wife as a model, my niece as a model, so I didn't pay more. That's my marketing and my PR. So I was very very practical, RJ. That's why the practical entrepreneur.
Practical Entrepreneur, again, the book available. Let's just flash it on the screen again one more time, Arian, and just
Yeah,
leave it
yeah,
there for those listening
yeah.
here right now who want to get the book, The Practical Entrepreneur. So, I know that you've got a lot of ventures, no, and I don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I focus on this one part which people don't see. That I'm sure across the different ventures, you had a major failure.
Oh
There's
naman.
one point that was really, really bad. If you don't mind, can you bring us through that experience? Because there are many issues for an entrepreneur. It's emotional, it's mental health, it's your cash flows really down. What did you do to not just recover from it, but more importantly, what what they often we often talk about this one. From that adversity, there are lessons that you learn. For an entrepreneur, walang talagang failure, but you learned a lot. But of course, it's a big failure, and emotionally, it's really draining. Financially, it's draining. Emotionally, it's draining as well. But what did you pick up from that? So, what was your biggest failure so far,
Mm.
Jace?
Okay. Being a screw it, let's do it guy, I failed so many times, okay, because I experiment a lot. I call it persistent experimentation or imperfect action. That's what I call it in the book. And that's the reason why I can teach young startups how to avoid. It's really about avoiding these failures. Um, that kita.ph. Um, we actually started kita.ph 2014.
Mm-hmm.
What ano na ngayon si kita.ph 2022 na. So it took us 7, 8 years to get the business model right. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
2014 major fail. We put up a platform, social e-commerce, put a lot of merchants, burned a lot of money. Uh, you know, eight-figure, 8 figures. Alam mo that time, you are a cool startup when you spend money on your office. You know, uh,
I remember those times. Basta maganda yung
oh,
office, okay ka na, di ba? Parang
oh,
ganyan.
gano'n, di ba? Punta ako sa office ng Friendster, punta ako office, parang yung mga ping-pong table, mga gano'n, di ba? So, when you're at that height, no, parang you tend to spend money on how you look or yung image mo outside. And, but you're inside, yung operations mo, you're actually bleeding like crazy inside, no? And, when every 15th, 30th, you don't have money to pay for your, na nagsasangla ka na,
Yes,
ng
yes.
pera,
Yes, yes.
um, oo, and you don't have money for gas, you have to borrow money. Actually, 2014 all the way to 2017, mga ganyan, was one of the worst times of my life.
Wow, that's
Na,
that's 3 years. That's 4 years. About 4 years
yeah,
of your life.
oo. Oo, na ang daming nangyari na talagang but because we believe in the business model so much, no, na 2018, 2019, we came up with Reselli, same business model, different approach. And then 2019, 2020, pandemic, bagsak na naman. No? Bagsak na naman. So, ang daming so we got a lot of merchants. Pero the merchants couldn't deliver kasi pandemic. No? So, 2021, 2022, okay, made the decision. Same business model, but remove all the merchants, just stick to one product, vegetables. Okay? So it took us 7, 8 years, to come up with fresh vegetables, kita.ph, running the same platform na social e-commerce, and being successful now in kita.ph because we are now in one of our most successful stages, no? of that 8 years, you know. So
Wow, wow.
we learned. So sabi nga namin, alam mo ang daming social e-commerce, 'di ba? Sa mundo na lumalabas. Sabi namin ng partner ko si Mark, 'di ba? Parang
Yep,
sabi
yep.
namin parang grabe, they're going through pa lang what we went through for the past 8 years. Nako, sabi ko, if only they knew, no? Kasi nakikita namin yung business model nila, yung ginawa namin dati. Okay.
At least you
So,
have the benefit of hindsight na lang right now.
yes, no. So very important 'yon, learning from your mistakes. Kasi and not just learning from your mistakes. It has to be learning what the pattern of your failure is, no?
I like that,
Kasi
learning the pattern of your failure, because sometimes you can pick
yes,
it up, you keep on making, you keep on doing it again because it's
yes,
sometimes it's built into your system, di ba?
correct, correct. That's why in my book, it's really about determining first your pattern. If you cannot wake up early every day, there must be something that you have to break, no? Because it's becoming a pattern, no? If
Mhm.
you're smoking, there must be something you can do to break it because it's a pattern. If you don't break that pattern, sooner or later you're gonna smoke again, no? Parang ganun siya. That's the idea. So when we sat down and formulated the new Riselli, the new Kita.ph, we thought very hard. Why do we keep failing? You know, why do we keep failing? It's the same business model. We really believe in it. Why do we keep failing? There's a pattern. You know, there's a pattern. And once you diagnose that pattern of failure and you break it with a good habit, you break it and get out of your comfort zone. No, I'm not going to do this anymore. That's when you start to see success. Parang ganun. Parang hindi ka na nagpe-fail.
Got that, got that. Now, I know that during this time, no, there was a lot of pivoting that you had to do amidst the pandemic, and I wish we had more time to talk. But there's a lot of businesses that you came up with furiously after the pandemic.
Yes.
If you don't mind, you know, kind of encapsulate how you were able to come up with them rapidly. What were you thinking of when you came up with each one of them? How did the previous idea build on the next idea, build on the next idea, build on the next idea? So people get to see sort of like that entrepreneurial logic with that overarching theme.
Okay. My suggestion there is, or my advice is, always begin with the end in mind. No, my end is build an ecosystem. No, so lahat ng mga ginagawa ko, when I see an opportunity, hey, it fits my ecosystem. It fits inside very well. So I grab it. No, if it doesn't fit in my ecosystem, then I don't. No, so kunyari, e-commerce, eHealth, uh, eSports, mga ganon, no? So so each one has its different characteristic. Pero when you put them all together, alam ni Marjorie nito eh, kunento ko na sa kanya. I mean, nagkwentuhan na kami ni Marjorie nito eh, no? Na if you put them all together, you're able to service a community, which is my original vision. Naisip ko na, what is the ending that I want? No? And what are the elements that can contribute to that end? And I need to put this up in order to lead to that. No? So, when you have that end in mind, ang bilis mo mag-pick up ng opportunity. Kasi nakita mo, wait, pasok to, pasok to, pasok to. Wait, pasok to. So once na you get that, and RJ, tayo, alam mo, sa dami ng failure natin sa buhay, dami ng pinagdaanan natin sa buhay, in my book, I call it internal radar, no? Yung internal radar mo is, that's different from what we call industry signals, no? Industry signals are things that companies use na data, statistics, di
Mhm.
ba? That come in. Teka, let's not go into this business because data says that ganyan-ganyan, no? So, an entrepreneur, they don't really use industry signals. They use what we call the internal radar.
Yeah.
Na, feel ko yan eh. Parang, pwede eh. Diba? Parang swak na swak yan eh. So, lahat ng experience mo in your life, no, na accumulated, accumulated siya lahat. You begin to develop what we call an internal radar, wherein parang, hey, I have to get into that business. I have to buy into you. I have to invest in this business. And I don't listen to business plans. When somebody approached me, I listened to their pitch one time, but rarely that I listen to how much money you're gonna make, what's your marketing plan. It's very rare. I say, I like you, you fit into my ecosystem. I like what you've done. Pasok ka, and let us build that ecosystem together. So that's how I rapidly started building. Meeting the right people along the way helps a lot as well.
Game. Marjorie Rubio, actually, kanina pa yung comment na to, but I just want to bring it out. From everything that you said, she's laughing over here. Ha 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 ha. Hashtag relate. Grabe. And I think many of us who are entrepreneurs can also relate to the same idea that you've shared here. Jason, I wish we had a lot more time to keep on talking. In fact, we've done a bit over time, which is great by me, which is okay by me. But if you were to wrap things up, from all the failures and the successes that you've had over the years, and if there were just three, I guess, life/business hacks that you want to share with people listening to us here right now, what would those hacks be for all these aspiring and struggling entrepreneurs out there right now?
Well, number one, okay. Number one is screw it, let's do it. Okay. You'll never know everything unexpected. Nobody can predict. Okay, and that happened to all of us during the pandemic. Okay, so if you want to go for a business, you do it, and then you determine your market, you sell to your market before you even try to develop your business. Alamin mo na kaagad kung may bibili ba niyan. Okay? Second is weakness evaporates with results. Okay? So you don't focus on your weakness. Dahil pag nakuha mo naman yung mansana sa puno, kahit pandak ka, maliit ka, it doesn't matter that you're small because you got that apple from the tree. It can be using a tool, it can be used, you ask a friend to get it for you. So your weakness doesn't matter, no? Because of that result na yon. Kahit binili mo yan sa supermarket, resulta pa rin yon. Okay? So be positive about yourself, no? Na there's no such thing as a weakness when you are able to deliver. Okay? That's number two. Lalo na ngayong pandemic, you have
Lalo na ngayong pandemic, it's a great equalizer, di ba?
Yes, you have
as
to
long as you
believe
get
in
the product
yourself.
to the market, you get it to your consumer, your end consumer, you're good.
Yes, no matter how you do it, Number three, pinaka-importante, last chapter of my book, the biggest hack of all is you have to learn how to be a spiritual entrepreneur. Because that is how I endured all the failures in my life. Okay? Is meditating on the scriptures and adapting it to my life. And ako, if you read my book, you'll be able to see na lahat ng business principle ay nasa Bible na. Huwag ka na magbasa ng iba. Lahat nandun na. About integrity, about hard work, about, hiring. Everything is there. Okay? Everything is there. Naiiyak daw si Marjorie.
Oo nga. Pakilabas kayo comment dyan, Arian. Naiyak si Marjorie, pumapalakpak na iiyak na naman ako, bro. Okay.
So, yun lang yung tatlo na marami akong masasabi pero RJ, maraming salamat at na binigay mo ko opportunity.
Yeah, I think we've got to do another show to talk. We never even got to talk about bounce back in this whole program and how it shaped things. But there's a lot of stuff. In fact, I was gonna say when you talk about about everything is in the Bible over here. I think another important thing also that we have to talk about is the idea that, like for me, it was being part of a faith community that is in business. Like for me, I'm part of a group called Power Mornings. And in Power Mornings, they're all businessmen. And technically, we're all there. It's just a faith community. And, we're there to also support each other by doing business. So we get to understand, some certain principles. And it's good because, when you do business, you can do it in a way that eliminates spirituality altogether. But how do you feel in the end, diba? How does it make you feel in the end? And that's why for me it's been very key that doing business together with your faith works very well together. Sabi nga ni Marjorie over here, dami ng guest starring si Marjorie dito. Tama, without being grounded to him, di mo kakayanin yung negosyo. But that's very true, especially during this pandemic. So as we wrap up this discussion, one last time, can we just show again the book, the Practical Entrepreneur book over here? That's the Practical Entrepreneur book. For those who want to get a copy of the book, Jason's been talking about it the whole night. Would love to have you guys pick up a copy right now. Again, that's HTTPS. Leave it up there, Jason. That's tinurl.com/practical entrepreneur. And the promo code is RJ Ledesma. 10% off. Get a copy here right now. Again, Jason, thanks so much for joining us here on the podcast. And we will see you guys on the next episode of the RJ Ledesma Podcast. Guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks so much, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys.